it's a sin. You know, and if he see you doing it, he gonna say, oh, he just about almost ready to bet. He gonna have to catch himself. He's a weak brother, right? That's what a weak brother is, right? The person who do not understand their Christian liberty, that everything ain't a sin. You know, regardless of what you've been taught in the past, if you're strong in your understanding. Now, in the area of amoral issues, you can be weak in one area of spirituality. That don't mean you weak. You understand what I'm saying? It's just in this area, you're not mature. All right? So this brother's weak in the faith, right? And he said, what? Receive him. See, don't reject that brother. And number 2, do not dispute about his doubts. All right? That's number 2. Don't see, sometimes you won't reject the brother, you won't push him off, but you want to argue with him and try to argue with him about what he think is wrong, trying to convince him that it's right. And y'all just disputing all the time. So receive him, and then don't dispute or argue with him about his doubts. Y'all got them too? That's going to help us, ain't it? Okay, let's read verses 3 and 4. Let's read together. Y'all got it? Let's read together. Let him that eateth despise. Oh, let him that eateth let him. I'm sorry, I'm reading wrong. That's why I messed myself up on that one. I was like, what is that? Let's do that again. Let not him that eateth despise him that eateth not, and let not him which eateth not judge him that eateth, for God has received him. All right? So there's another rule right there. Do not despise or judge each other. All right? And I already told you, you can tell when you go to despising and judging each other by the type of language that you use concerning that individual or those individuals. Either the group that is understand the Christian liberty will judge the group that think it's wrong to do things. Y'all know what's some of the names they call them? Holier than thou. And what's on the other side? They call those people who carnal, worldly. See, don't despise or judge each other. Okay? And it goes on to say, for God has received him, the latter part of verse 3. Who art thou that judges another man's servant? To his own master he standeth or falleth, yea, he shall be holding up. For God is able to make him stand. While you condemning him and putting him in hell, God is able to make him stand. So stop judging him. All right? It goes on to say, let's read verse 5. One man esteem one day above another, another esteemeth every day alike. Here's a rule. Let every man, here's a rule right here, write it down. Let every man be what? Fully persuaded where? In his own mind. Have you ever went somewhere that you felt like you shouldn't go, and then you got there and you just feel so uncomfortable? Because you let somebody else convince you to go. You understand? But now, we still talking about amoral things, but if you don't need to be there, now that's some things that's not simple, but you don't need to do it. Because God knows your weak points. Hello, somebody. Now, maybe somebody else can go there, but you don't need to go there. And you got doubts about going. But you let somebody else influence you. See, but you weren't fully persuaded that you shouldn't go. I know some of y'all been there. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. You just went because everybody else was going. And you got there and you felt like you just feel condemned. You just felt so uncomfortable. You were so glad when everybody said, let's go. So here's a rule. Be fully persuaded where? In your own mind. That what? That what you finna do is not wrong for you. Don't worry about nobody else. You just make sure that you fully persuaded that it's all right for me to go. All right? So that's another rule. Be fully persuaded in your own mind. All right? For he that regardeth the day regardeth it unto the Lord, and he that regardeth not the day to the Lord, he does not regard it. He that eateth, in other words, he know it ain't no sin to eat meat, he eat it. He eat to the Lord. And the one that feel like I shouldn't eat it, he don't eat, but it's still unto the Lord. Both of them are giving God thanks. But just make sure you're fully persuaded that the thing that you do, that you are persuaded that it's all right for me to do this. Because if you don't, if you're not fully persuaded, you're going to feel condemned. You're going to be condemned in your own mind. All right. All right. Then it says here, for none of us liveth to himself, and no man dieth to himself. For whether we live unto the Lord, and whether we die unto the Lord. Whether we live, therefore, or die, we are the Lord's. All right? So, in other words, keep the right attitude. Y'all help me say, I got to keep the right attitude. There's another rule. Write this down. Keep the right attitude when it comes to amoral issues. Somebody help me say, we all are God's servants. All right? Let's keep the right attitude about that. All right? And then verse 13, going down to verse 13, it reiterates what rule was that, where it said don't judge. Rule number 3. It reiterates rule number 3. Let's read that together. Let us not therefore what? Judge one another, anymore. See, Paul knew some of y'all been doing that. Stop judging somebody. Talking about they ain't saved. Now we talking about amoral issues now. They ain't saved. Now stop judging. Don't judge anymore. All right? But what? Yeah, verse 13. Y'all follow me? Come on. Let's read it together. Let us not therefore judge one another anymore, but judge this, that no man put a what? Stumbling block or an occasion to fall in his brother's way. You better write that down. That's another rule. Y'all help me say, do not be a stumbling block to your brother or your sister.